Hey, what's up everybody? This is HD StarCraft. Welcome back, and I'm proud to bring to you guys today a Wings of Liberty broadcast. And I've been starting to ease myself back into Wings of Liberty a little bit. I did a match with Stefano a few days ago, maybe about last week now, I guess, as some time has passed, and it seems like most of you guys really enjoyed going back to the old school and watching some Wings of Liberty. Obviously the game is much more balanced. The play level is far higher than the play that you see right now in Heart of the Storm, because people have the game figured out, and they've modernized it and they understand the matchup. So I'm going to be bringing you guys a broadcast with Nerchio here. He is going to be the blue Zerg in the bottom left hand corner and on the map Cloud Kingdom. Over in the top right, we do have his opponent, former Warcraft 3 pro, and it is Grubby. And Grubby opening up with an interesting Forge placement. Wow, that's very weird. I wonder if he's throwing this Forge up because he thinks Nerchio is going to 6-pull him or something. Usually that's why you would do that. That way you don't have to end up losing the Forge at the front door. And I guess he's just playing very safe rather than sorry. But you know what? Nerchio is not going to be doing this. He is actually going for a 14 pull, so we do have a macro opening from him. It is worthy to note that this is from WCS Europe, so these were tournament games that were played a couple of weeks ago. And this is going to be a very high level play. Obviously Nerchio, many consider to be second best Zerg in Europe. Of course, Stefano being the #1 Zerg in the foreign areas outside of Korea, and #1 player in fact outside of Korea. And Grubby, like I said before, former Warcraft 3 pro, and has a lot of history behind his play. I've casted many of his games before. Love watching the gentleman play. He's a very talented Protoss player. And let's see him take it to Nerchio and see who's going to be able to take down the W. I think Nerchio, sometimes in his games, he's been noted for his, you know, less than well-mannered play, but I think a lot of times when he does that, it's kind of that Zerg rage that Idra seems to share with him. A lot of times they just kind of get so mad at stuff. As a Zerg player, I can totally feel with how they feel from time to time. It's pretty frustrating to play Zerg, but then again, it's frustrating to play Terran and Protoss when you're losing too. StarCraft 2 is a game that is frustrating when you're losing, but it feels so good when you're winning. So I guess that the same can be said for most video games, but we do have this probe. We're just kind of taking a stroll through the park, and it is going to be taken out by those initial 3 Zerglings. Eventually. Maybe not actually. It has 9 HP and its shields are regenerating, so it might make it back home safely. I do feel like Grubby set himself back a little bit, though, by opening up with a safer build, because we can see Nerchio here not taking any hesitation, going for the triple hatch right away. This is very common Zerg play. This is how Zerg play against Protoss, and the only thing that they do have to be concerned about is some type of 2-base all-in that Protoss can do. 6-gate, Blink Stalkers, Warp Gate with, Warp Prism, dropping into the main off of 2 bases with like 6 gates and a robo, and double Stargate, or DTs. Those are the kind of typical strategies that Protoss do employ against a Zerg player who hatches all the way out to the 3rd right away. But, and I will say there is one thing going well for Grubby here in the map. That's the one thing that I think is going to be the X factor. This is a great map for playing a more long style PvZ macro game, because it's very easy to take this expansion and kind of wall it off with like a few buildings here or a few buildings here. Very hard for Zerg to break. There's not a lot of open space, and then it's very easy on that same scale to take an expansion here. So Protoss typically like to take it into the late game on this map. I also kind of like the double gates in the front here. I mean, obviously his Forge and Core are hidden in the back, but at the very least, it might make Nerchio feel a little uncomfortable seeing 2 gates at the front. But I think most Zergs, they'll realize that, hey, it's 7 minutes in. This is not like an early 2-gate or anything like that. And Nerchio, you know, doing good at not overreacting, just throwing a crawler at the 3rd. So he is a little concerned, but, you know, nothing too scary right now. At the moment in time, it does look like Nerchio is saving up a lot of, well, not saving up a lot of money, but it seems like he's going to be going for a Stefano Max Roach strategy. Actually, he has a Roach Horn coming up considerably earlier than the layer, and finally the layer has now started, but there is no Zergling speed on the way. Will we see a speed upgrade from Nerchio? That's usually what most Zergs get when they're going for that kind of Roach Zergling build, but don't forget there are Phoenix on the map right now. And Grubby is going to try to take to the skies and do a little bit of early harass with the Phoenix. I like how he hasn't revealed them yet. A lot of times when Protoss go for Stargate play, I feel like they reveal the early Void Ray or the early Phoenix, but I think you can do so much more damage if you catch the Zerg off guard. And right now, Nerchio has no idea that there's a Stargate in the back here, and he has no idea that there are 4 Phoenix out in the field now. In fact, the Phoenix are going to fly away from the Overlord, and they will not be scouted by any Zerg vision at all until the very last second, and these Phoenix could look to do a ton of damage, but it looks like Nerchio realizing, hey, you don't have any sentries at your front door? What is going on? You're saving up gas for something, and it's either DTs or it's air Stargate play. And luckily for him, he did throw a Spore Crawler at his third. So a very good intuition there by Nerchio, because that's how you sniff out Protoss aggression through early gas like Stargate or DTs. You check to see if there's sentries, and if there's no sentries here, obviously the gas is going somewhere. So now, he is losing a lot of Overlords, but at the very least, his drones will be protected because he has Spore Crawlers. Let's see if this Queen goes down. It looks like it will. So these 5 Phoenix have actually done a decent amount of damage. It looks like they're going to snipe off another Overlord here. And yeah, one more Overlord goes down, and so far Nerchio taking quite a few Overlord hits so far, has lost 6 units total. And more Overlords continuing to drop, and now Nerchio is under supply. He's going to have to make a lot of Overlords to make up for the deficit right now. One of the Phoenix finally falls. Meanwhile, Nerchio just camping out this Protoss third expansion. He knows that if he can keep the Protoss on 2 bases, even if he's losing Overlords right now, even if he's losing some workers here or there, it's all right as long as he can prevent the Protoss from claiming this 3rd base. That's the critical X factor here on this map, because like I said before, it's very hard to destroy the Protoss 3rd base once it's captured. And it looks like he's doing a pretty good job here of killing off sentries. In fact, he killed off almost all the sentries, only 1 remains, and Nerchio, I think, can give himself a good pat on the back for that, and now begin to pull away. But he doesn't necessarily need to leave the fight yet. The Phoenix don't have unlimited energy, and they're not the best at killing off roaches. They do take some time, so Nerchio can still continue to prevent the Protoss 3rd base from coming up, and that's exactly what he's doing. Just continuing to buy time, now forcing Grubby to send out 2 probes to get this Nexus down, to really make sure it comes up. Because if a Protoss doesn't get the 3rd base, then eventually, you know, against a Zerg player, you're just forced into an all-in situation because you need that 3rd base as Protoss. And a very good Zealot Warp in right there to cover the crack and make sure that the Zerglings can't leak on through, but a lot of Zerglings coming over to the top. And once again, Nerchio going to shut down that Nexus, and that was a big play right there, forcing that Nexus to go down. And Nerchio even gonna try to get extra greedy against the Stalkers, but not going to happen this time around. The Phoenix now going around for a roundabout maneuver. I like this play from Grubby. He's going to try to focus Nerchio's attention on defense rather than offense. So he's using offense as his form of getting this Nexus up. And he knows that Phoenix aren't that good against Zerglings anyways, and that seems to be the main threat he's dealing with right now. So he is going to try to take out these workers as much as possible. There is a 4th hatchery coming, though, along with the double Spore setup. That's going to make it hard for those Phoenix to really do much at all. I do like how Grubby has not continued Phoenix production. A lot of times Protoss, they end up getting into a, oh god, I'm losing Phoenix, I'm going to make more Phoenix or more Void Rays or something, and that's really not, they're not very good once the Zerg starts to get infestors out on the field. That's the main counter unit to the Phoenix, so you do want to be careful with how many Phoenix you make. And Grubby now coming around to the top side with those 5 Phoenix, looking to get as much damage as possible in. Let's see what Nerchio's up to right now on his 4 bases. It looks like the action has started to settle down a bit. Nerchio doing a great job macroing, has gone up to a 4 base now, and currently has 74 workers, has the hive out as well. That's a very nice hive timing, considering the Overlords he lost and the initial aggression from the Phoenix. And we're going to have a very quick switch into Broodlords. But no Infestors on the field yet. That's interesting. Usually, Nerchio would have Infestors out at this moment in time, but, you know, it looks like he's going to skip Infestor production in favor of getting quicker Broodlords out. No, he's got 7 Infestors out there. I just don't... Okay, there they are. So I didn't see them at first. And so Nerchio is going to have some Broodlords out pretty soon here. Grubby will need to get a Mothership out. to combat the Broodlords. He'll need to get a Fleet Beacon, but for now he doesn't have Fleet Beacon out. That surprises me considering it's 15 minutes in. Usually as Protoss, you want the mothership at the very latest, the 16, 17 minute mark, and that is pushing it. So I'm surprised he's already got a Stargate, but he doesn't have a Fleet Beacon yet, and Zerglings are coming in here. They're going to be able to take out a couple of probes. And nice hold position micro by Nerchio, but even better worker micro by Grubby. And now the Zerglings, oh man, that is a good storm, taking them out. But I think Nerchio is going to be very happy to see, the Zerg player will be very pleased to see that this army is not well equipped to deal with Broodlords. There is no mothership, there isn't enough Stalkers with Blink, in fact there is no Blink on the field, and right now Nerchio's quick switch into Broodlords is going to be very devastating for Grubby to deal with, and I think our Protoss player realizes the calamity he's in, and right now is going to try to get Archons and a Fleet Beacon out. And he needs to get that out ASAP. Can't really make an attack into this wall of crawl either. There's just too many spine crawlers here, and of course the infestors can provide additional support with Fungal and Infested Terrans, and it looks like he's going to go for Infested Terrans as Zerglings go for a snipe on this Nexus again. Nerchio just doing a brilliant job of taking out Nexi wherever he can, keeping the Protoss from realizing the unlimited potential of the 4-base toss. And now the Broodlords can go to work. There is not enough anti-air here for Grubby to deal with Broodlords. He still doesn't have Blink yet, although it is on the way. And the Nexus has gone down. So Grubby once again forced back down to 3-base as Nerchio claims a 5th. And Nerchio starting to take a dominating position in this game. But Grubby isn't out of it yet. He's going to try to use these Zealots to, I guess, go for a 007 mission to snipe a hatchery, but they were scouted by the Zerglings. And, you know, with this many Broodlords here, this hatchery is not going to be the hatchery that goes down. But maybe he could go for a run-by into the natural. There are roaches, though. We'll see how that plays out. And these Zealots are upgraded with charge. It looks like Grubby can't make up his mind. And in this situation, usually you want to right-click the hatchery and just go straight for the hatch. But he's going to go for the roaches first. I think during this entire time, he could have actually killed off the hatchery with this many +3 Zealots. But he decided not to, and it looks like those Zealots are going to go down. I think Grubby right there missed a big opportunity to shut down one of the hatcheries of Nerchio, to so be it, you know, dish back some of the old medicine that Nerchio has been doing to him, which is killing off bases. And we do have another base that's going to be killed off right now by Nerchio. Very good job by our Zerg player of continually keeping him keeping his opponent from getting these bases up. And like I said before, when a Protoss gets to 4 and, you know, God forbid 5 bases, they become an unlimited god. They become one of the most fearsome things in the game, and it's very hard to deal with that. Although, of course, Broodlord Infestor is one of the scariest compositions as well. You still want to keep the Protoss from getting that 4th and 5th base, and right now Grubby finally going to kill off a hatchery here in the bottom right-hand corner. And that hatchery is going to go down. Very nice job right there by Grubby. That's exactly what he needs to do. Send in Zealots, send in DTs if possible, and start to get really nasty against these hatcheries. And it looks like he's got a Warp Prism here with 7 Zealots total. That can easily take out this hatchery for Nerchio too. And Grubby is just playing this much better now. I like how he's starting to get a little more up-tempo. He's adding in an 8th Zealot as well. This will for sure kill off a hatchery, even if Nerchio responds right now. I don't think he's going to have enough time to save the hatchery. And actually, Grubby only sends 3 here, and was going to go for a real attack into the main base, so he was going to use this as a diversion, but there are Spore Crawlers set up to prevent that from happening. But Grubby still finds a way to deploy the Warp Prism at the edge, and now the Zealots are inside the main base, so the Warp Prism will fall. These Zealots are stranded, but not... They don't care, man. The Zealots are going to go for the Hive, I think. That is a pretty hard structure to kill, but there's too many roaches now, and I think Grubby, once again, might have missed an opportunity. Who knows? It might have been a lot different had there not been 2 spores here. It might have went in favor of Grubby, but as it goes so far, Nerchio has been doing a good job of defending. And now, do we have a mothership yet? We do have a lot of Templar on the field, but I don't see a mothership anywhere nearby. There is one out somewhere on the map, and stuff is starting to happen all over the place, so it's going to be hard for me to keep up. It still seems like a couple of Zealots are here inside of Nerchio's main base, and just doing a good job of continuing to keep him on his toes. And looks like now they're going to start to attack the Hive, but you know what? A Hive has a lot of health, so I think Nerchio will be okay there. He won't lose that. He is going to be actually the one who's going to start beating the War Drums to try to take out this Nexus. We'll see if he's going to be successful in that endeavor. A lot of Brood Lords here. Really a lot of Brood Lords, but the Mothership has finally arrived, and it actually has more than enough energy for a Vortex. A good Vortex here, along with the Archons coming in, would do significant damage. Grubby's trying to wait for the Archons to finally come out on the map. And here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Will he go for the Mega Vortex of them all? The Nexus is taking critical damage. It looks like the Nexus is going to fall. And now Grubby actually doesn't need to really bother defending here. I mean, yeah, he's got a third Nexus back here that he would like to keep alive, but it isn't absolutely necessary for him to maintain this position anymore. He could actually go out and be harassive, and it looks like he's been doing that with the War Prison play, although that War Prison is going to go down. And once again, what I mean is, you know, once the Protoss loses this base, I feel like it does set them significantly far behind. I think Grubby should be aggressive right now. He doesn't have any reason to be defensive here, although he is reclaiming that Nexus. 25 Banelings out coming from Nerchio too, and the reason why we have Banelings on the way from the Blue Zerg player is because when you deal with late game Vortexes, is, you know, Zerg have discovered this for a few months now, but when you deal against late game Vortex with those Archons, one good way to counter it is just send in some detonating units of your own, and what better detonating unit than the Baneling? So if you send in, say, like 30 or 40 Banelings into that Vortex, any Archons that are in there and any other Protoss units will instantly die, thereby saving your Broodlords. So basically, you kind of have this dichotomy, where the Protoss doesn't know if he wants to send the Archons in or not because he sees the Banelings are waiting and ready to go. We do have an attack here from Grubby in the meantime, though. Going to try to take out this hatchery. He's going to focus the fire on the hatch now, but that Archon is not going for hatch, it's going for drone kills. Not doing a bad job either. Got actually 14 drone kills in total this game. Grubby has killed off 53 workers. That is an astronomically high number of worker kills, and that worker kill count could continue to skyrocket as Grubby is coming in with these Templars. In the meantime, he's going to go for a base kill here as he's sending his entire army into the natural. This is very risky by Grubby. Where is he going to go with this? He doesn't have a mothership. Oh, he has the mothership for the recall, and he saved his entire army there. I like that play because, you know what? He has enough energy for a Vortex still. He saved up enough for 200, so that was very nice. And the Storm there, crippling Nerchio once again. Beautiful Storm play here as some Zealots make their way over from this pylon. Skirmishes all over the place. But like I said before, that was really smart by Grubby. Save 100 energy for a Vortex if he needs it, but also go for a potential hatchery snipe, which he was successful in doing, and then he Vortexed everything out. And he still, like I said before, he recalled everything out, and like I said before, he still has enough for a Vortex. But the Broodlords are pretty well spread out here by Nerchio, just because he has so many. Banelings go inside. Did Grubby realize the Banelings went in? I think he did. That's why he's not sending the Archons in. Although, I don't know what he's going to do. He's trying to make up his mind right now. Some of the Archons are stuck, and the Archons are going in. All the Banelings detonating, but the Archons, look at that. Grubby leaves some of them on the outside, and that is more than enough to take out the Broodlords. Brilliant play. Meanwhile, the Zealots take out a hatchery in the bottom right. This Archon just chilling at the top. Remaining of the two Templar before that got that Storm off, I believe. And Grubby is going to actually lose this position despite a beautiful play with his Archons, keeping them outside of the Vortex and taking out a hefty amount of Broodlords. I think the reason for that is Nerchio's just got so many Broodlords that he's just raining so many units down below. It's becoming very difficult for Grubby to deal with, especially without the support of a mothership. And right now, he doesn't have enough anti-air to deal with this, and the Nexus could very well go down. Zerglings being sent to the top left to take out Grubby's Nexus over here. As an Archon, the Archon came down to wreak havoc down on the drones below. 7 kills on that Archon. So both players are doing tons of damage to each other's probe and drone line, and this is getting down to the wire as the Zerg player is at 95 supply, has lost so many drones this game. He's lost 72, he's only at 20 right now. Can he maintain a war of attrition without nearly as many probes as his opponent. He has killed off a Nexus once again, and you know what? Grubby might have all the probes in the world, but he cannot mine at any of his bases. He is running out of money. He will have to be forced to distance mine, and now comes a weird situation. Does Grubby save up 400 for a Nexus, or does he just distance mine and forget building a Nexus because he's lost that one 2 or 3 times already? It looks like this is not going to be a good engage for Grubby at all, and when things get down to the wire, it's all about being cost efficient with your units, and Nerchio, I think, is getting a little more cost efficient here. We don't have another Nexus coming. You can see Grubby did not drop 400 minerals. He is instead eking out every ounce of money he's got to make more army. He knows that if he can win in the cost efficiency wars here, if he can be more efficient than his opponent, then he will win this game. And he's just going to rely solely on distance mining to keep his hopes alive. That Archon has fallen. Wow, this is incredible. So far, very, very close. 15 drones to 53, but like I said before, it doesn't really matter when you're distance mining, and, well, it matters, but it matters less. And it does look like Grubby saved up 400 for a Nexus, so now, all of a sudden, the emphasis of this game is going to rely very heavily upon Nerchio taking out this Nexus, which he will do! But at the very least, it looks like Grubby gets that cancel at the last second, so he can invest once he gets 400 again for another Nexus. But, wow, this is incredible. A couple of probes going over to the top left. It looks like Grubby will not drop 400 for a Nexus right now. He has a sizable army, man, of 223 upgraded ground troops along with a mothership. But you know what? Nerchio has Infestor, Broodlord, Corruptor. And that is one of the deadliest, if not the deadliest, late-game composition in Wings of Liberty. Love how he's brought in a couple of Overseers here, too, to catch the invisible units. Now it's going to come down to being very efficient with the feedbacks and the fungals. And Grubby looking to get a couple of huge feedbacks off against his squad of Infestors. Nerchio keeping them behind the Broodlord, so very smart play. If he loses energy on those Infestors, that could very well just be GG. Burrow Zergling preventing Nexi from dropping at the outside expansions, at the perimeters. But it doesn't look like the plan here for Grubby is to get a Nexus anymore. I think he's just going to go with what he's got. And feedbacks come down, hitting the Infestors. All the invisible Templar proving to be too much for Nerchio to handle. And he should have targeted those Templar coming in because he had vision with the Overseers. He should have tried to target those Templar that were coming in, or at the very least run his Infestors away. I think that was a mistake there by Nerchio, and it might end up hurting him very badly. And of course, the longer this goes on, man, Grubby's got a lot more workers to distance mine with, and Nerchio doesn't. He's got less than half. So Grubby has, Nerchio has got to end this game now. The Blue Zerg must look to end the game now, and the longer this goes on, the more bleak it becomes for him. Wow, this is an incredible high-level game of StarCraft 2. And we'll see, man, how this is going to play out. I still like Nerchio's army of Broodlord, Infestor, Corruptor, but that mothership has enough energy for Vortex, and almost will have enough for 2 Vortex. I think Grubby might just wait for a double Vortex here and then make his move. Oh, the Zealot going for drone kills, charging into drones and Zerglings. It got 6 kills before it died. And here we go. Oh, everything is so clumped up. Templar gets feedbacks off again. And Nerchio slowly losing this war. He only has a few Infestors with energy left. He gets a fungal off on the mothership, but he loses energy on his Infestor once again, and Vortex number 1 has come. And Vortex number 2 may soon come as well. A lot of Zerg forces stuck in that black hole. And will we have another Vortex coming out by Grubby? And will Nerchio have enough Broodlords to win the day? The rest of his Broodlords have come out. This is going to get very close and down to the wire. Another Vortex comes. I think Grubby might have enough. The mothership will fall. And now it's just going to come primarily down to Broodlords against Stalkers. And how many Broodlords does Nerchio have left? It doesn't seem like he's going to have enough. Only 3. And Grubby can just focus fire those Broodlords down. So very good game here. I think we're going to have GG momentarily. Nerchio even shooting out Corruption. to help the Broodlords out, even if a little bit. And I think that's it. That's it. 3 Stalkers are going to take the victory in this last battle. And Nerchio gives a smiley face, knows that was an incredible game of StarCraft 2, and calls the GG. Beautifully played. And that was the best game out of this entire set. So I hope you guys enjoyed this cast. Once again, it was from WCS Europe. If you guys did, check me out. I am at YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter at HDStarcraft, and I'll have more videos coming up tonight, actually. So stay tuned, and this is HD signing out.